What's up, everyone? Mr. NoobTube Gamer. Today we're playing Black Ops Cold War Zombies in 2024. See what's going on 4 years later. It really was the mode that saved Cold War for me. The multiplayer was so bad between the skill-based matchmaking and the way the streak system worked. It was one of the worst Call of Duty multiplayer experiences of all time. Still a lot better than Modern Warfare 2019, but that doesn't really say a lot because that was the worst Call of Duty of all time, at least until Modern Warfare 2 and 3 came out. So this video is going to be a lot more positive than my video on Vanguard Zombies, which I did the other day. That was probably the worst zombies in all of Call of Duty, except for Modern Warfare 3, because Modern Warfare 3 Zombies is also really, really bad. But Cold War actually had a pretty good zombies mode. It certainly lacked a lot of content. It could have been a lot more than it was, but because of the new model where they weren't charging for DLC anymore and it was all free updates, we had two really good maps. We had Die Maschine and Forsaken, which is the map that you see in this gameplay. And there were also two mid maps, Firebase Z and Mar der Toten, so 4 maps in total, but they were all round-based maps, and they all were fun in their own way. Cold War introduced a lot of positive changes to the zombies formula. One thing is being able to use any gun that you want from multiplayer, and being able to customize it, pretty much have the same progression with multiplayer as you did in Zombies, which we've never seen before in Call of Duty. And that's the only reason why I kept playing Cold Wars, because there were so many weapons I wanted to grind for, but I did not want to play the multiplayer, but I was able to grind the camos and everything through Zombies, and that was a real game changer. And being able to use different created classes in the Zombies mode made for a much more unique, and it added a lot of longevity to Zombies that we never really had before. And also from round one, it was a pretty fast-paced gameplay. Like, you already had a bunch of zombies coming at you, and it moved a lot faster than previous CODs, where you start off with the pistol, and it takes like maybe 10-15 minutes to finally get going and for things to finally get interesting. Like, the setup takes a very long time in the older ones. In this one, you're right into the action from round one, from the beginning, and I think that's great. It also added in the salvage system in order to buy kill streaks that you can use in Zombies, like the attack helicopter and a whole bunch of other ones, and also buy equipment like a claymore or a monkey bomb. And you also had the armor upgrades, the weapon upgrades, the pack-a-punch was all good. And we can't forget about exfil. That was a great thing if you wanted to just play for a little bit, but you didn't want to like really attempt a high round, but you didn't want to kill yourself either. You wanted to get some bonus rewards for exfilling and ending the game early on your terms. That was a great addition to Zombies as well. Like, most of the changes they put into Cold War were positive. There were a couple of negatives. There was the fact that it was pretty hand-holding. Like, it told you everywhere you need to go, all the objectives in order to pack a punch and everything. So there was no sense of wonder or mystery because it laid out everything in front of you. So, they did that to make it more casual for the new player that's not very experienced with zombies and doesn't want to, try to figure it out on their own. Like, the game pretty much told you everything you need to do. And the Easter eggs were also very easy and simple. And it overall was easier to play Cold War. Like, it was the easiest Zombies mode that you can play as far as getting to the high rounds, as far as all that. Although Black Ops 3 with the Gobblegums may be a little bit easier if you spent a shit ton of money on microtransactions. But overall, I hold Cold War in very high regard. It was a very fun experience that I have a lot of nostalgia for. It was great. And people do still play it in 2024. You get full matches for all the maps in the game. No problem, because it has crossplay, so no problems as far as matchmaking goes. But would I recommend that someone buy it in 2024? Now, that's a tough one, because the Zombies, like I said, doesn't really have that much content, and it's not like all 4 maps are amazing. Like I said, I mean, they're not bad. None of them are bad, but if you had to pick, like, if you don't have Black Ops 3 Zombies, for example, get that instead. If you don't have Black Ops 1, get that instead. So, like, I can't recommend you get this above all the great ones, but I guess if you're, like, a older player that never got into Cold War, and you get it for cheap enough, because, like I said, the multiplayer is not very good. The single player is really good, though, so, yeah, for 2 out of 3 really good modes, I guess it's worth it if you can get it at a good price, and then, of course, when it eventually comes to Game Pass, it's going to be obvious, like, yeah, of course, check it out. Although maybe not, because it's like 120, 30, 40 gigabytes, so it takes up a lot of storage, and it might not be worth it. Because even for me, I have like 50 megabit a second internet, which for me is pretty good where I live. I live in the countryside, so I guess there's some people who live in better places with much faster speeds, but for me it takes all day to download a game that big, and it may not be worth it, if you don't end up liking the game. And like I said, there's so many other zombies modes in the Call of Duty series alone, never mind other zombie games that are just objectively better than Cold War, especially on PC, like Killing Floor 2 and Left 4 Dead 2. You'll also notice from the gameplay footage that the game kind of looks like shit, right? It looks like I'm playing this not on a PS4, but a PS3. I'm actually playing this on PC. There's like some weird texture problems that I've been having lately with the game. Multiplayer as well. So the PC version was not, just overall, the PC version of Cold War wasn't optimized very well, and this is one of those problems that I have. Meanwhile, I play Modern Warfare 2 or Vanguard, and it looks fucking fantastic, so it's definitely not a spec problem on my PC. I'm even running it on max settings in 1440p, so yeah. I don't know what's up with that. So if you have to choose, you might as well actually go with the console version if you have all platforms, like get the Series X version or the PS5 version of Cold War, because the PC version wasn't that great. It's definitely not broken, but it can be very annoying and frustrating sometimes with dealing with these texture issues and all this other bullshit that sometimes pops up. But then the next time you can open up the game, and it's perfectly fine. Like, it's just so inconsistent. What was really fun with Cold War, every year during Halloween, they would have this mode, the special Halloween mode, where they had jack-o'-lanterns come out of all the zombies you kill, and it would spawn chalices that would instantly upgrade your weapons, instantly pack-a-punch. It was ridiculous, and it was overpowered as hell, but it was so fun. They stopped doing it, though, like in 2023. They used to do it every year, and then they stopped updating Cold War during Halloween to give us that mode, because that was the most fun I ever had, honestly. Not just in Cold War, but in all of Call of Duty Zombies. That was a blast. But they got rid of it, those bastards. See, I don't really play Cold War anymore. It would have been great if they had custom zombies with the Steam Workshop like you still do with Black Ops 3. It's so weird to me that Black Ops 3, despite coming out almost 10 years ago, is the latest Call of Duty game to have mod support and have custom zombies. It's just crazy. Like, I don't understand why they haven't implemented that in newer COD games. I have very high expectations for Gulf War, despite how bad Vanguard was and how bad Modern Warfare 3 was. Hopefully, now that it's Treyarch's own game, we actually have a better zombies experience than we've been getting over the past 3-4 years. And this might be a controversial opinion, I'm not sure. But one thing, get rid of Outbreak. No more Outbreak, no more of those bullshit modes. We need round-based zombies. That's all they should be focusing their resources on. That's one thing. The second thing, they should probably just bring back paid DLC, especially with zombies, because as soon as they went to like the whole free update model, the zombies content has been so sparse and just hasn't been enough. I mean, even Black Ops 4, people shit on the Season Pass and say it's one of the worst DLCs ever. It was the last Call of Duty to feature Season Passes, but it also had a shit ton of zombies content as a result. And there were like, 6, 7, 8 maps in the core zombies mode. We had a lot more content in Black Ops 4 than any of the recent Call of Duty zombies, and that has pretty much everything to do with that game having a Season Pass and paid DLC, and the newer ones having the free updates with no content. So I think maybe paid DLC is the only way that zombies can continue to be sustainable and we can get all these amazing maps, year after year after year. I'm not sure. That's just a thought, just an idea. Who knows, what the future of zombies is going to be and if Gulf War ends up being good. But Cold War is still good in 2024 and you can still have a lot of fun with it. And I would recommend, if you can get the game cheap enough, especially if you can find some good people to play with. But it's also fun solo. I play the game a lot solo. But the multiplayer is ass, so be prepared for that. Yeah, overall, I would recommend Cold War Zombies specifically. It lacked a lot of content, though, so it doesn't have a whole lot of longevity to it, really. I mean, it was great when Cold War was in its prime. You could grind for the multiplayer and all that stuff. But just 4 maps, it's not going to last you a long time. So, probably not the best COD Zombies to play in 2024. But overall, it's pretty solid.